Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh yeah.
And we're live. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, y'all? This is John. I play sax and I do the screaming and the antics and the dancing for the band Keep Flying, which also features a few other gentlemen by the names of Henry, Chuck, Ricky, Peter, and Dustin. We're a six-piece punk rock band with a horn section from predominantly New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
So how did you start with punk in general? Was that what you listened to when you were growing up, or?
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone in the band as a young or as a youth at some point or another got into some subgenre of punk music, whether it was skate punk or the ska stuff or the pop punk stuff. We all come from that, and we all listen to, we could always all agree on like just straight up fast punk rock, like a Bouncing Souls. That's a band that all six of us are like, we're in on this band. But yeah, I would say it started, some of us in junior high, some of us high school, everybody in the early ages though. As fans of the bands and seeing live music, none of us starting bands until a little bit later of our own.
Start with a hard one, and then they keep getting harder and harder. What do you want to leave as your legacy, not musically, as a person?
As my legacy personally,
Yeah.
if not music, well, I've been vegan for 15 years.
Okay.
And I would really like to know that I did the best thing I could do to help with that and or the planet in general. I'd like to know that I did something significant that maybe helps I'm not going to take it back, but I'm going to kind of change it. I'd like to leave behind I'd like to go away knowing that I helped a few people continue to live longer on this planet. That's what I'd like to. I'd like that. That is something that I already strive to do. I have a lot of friends that will reach out to me when they're in a very low place, and I like to think that, I know you said not through music, but with our music and what we do as workers, I feel very much compelled to do everything I can to convince people that they deserve to be here and should be here.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the music part now. 5 Year Mess.
Yeah.
Where was that video taken?
5 Year Mess video was shot on a January day, sadly, in Stroudsburg. I believe it was, or maybe it was Boonton, New Jersey. I believe it was Boonton, on the main street of Boonton, New Jersey. We were freezing cold, and as you have, I'm seeing the video, it was done. We had to do a lot of takes because it was a one-take video, so we had to keep looping the same thing over and over until we got it correct. And man, some of us, myself included, were we were not appropriately dressed, so we had the cars on with the heat blasting, and every couple takes we would get back in the car, sit with the heat because it was so damn cold. It was like a 20-degree day, or like a 18-degree day, something like this, and that was brutal. But we as a band realized if we didn't do it that day, we weren't going to shoot the video. So it was like, do it now or never do it. So that was it.
I saw another interview you were in. I like the fact that most of your videos, you showcase your other members.
Correct.
So, no, I think that's a really cool idea because that's not done that often.
No, I think a lot of a lot of the music out there, it's the singer. Whoever the singer is, you know, in the spotlight. It makes sense. I do get it. But like, if you've ever seen our live show, you know that all of us are up there, you know, including Peter, who's behind us on the drums, putting on the best show we could put on, making it so that people don't know who they should be looking at. Like, no one ever knows where they should be looking. And so for our music videos, we try to keep that same kind of mentality going. That's like, there's 6 of us. We're all here. We're all putting in the same work. Like, we all deserve to have our time in the video, you know? And I don't know. That's kind of why we do that. We've all just did other bands before this, and we've all made the mistakes and learned. And now we're just like, we're just going to do this our way, even if it's against the grain, if that makes sense.
No, it does. All right. Since there's 6 band members,
Yep.
I'm going to give you a Freaky Friday scenario.
Okay.
Who do you not want to be for 24 hours?
Who do I not want to be for 24 hours?
Yeah, who do you not want to be for 24 hours?
My boy Henry, I do not want to be for 24 hours. He's just stressed out, and he's always got to deal with. He's got a lot of shit going on in his life, and I'm good. I'm in the process of trying to de-stress as much as I can, and I would collapse, I think. That being said, I would love to do it with Peter, because he seamlessly couldn't care less about anything. He's just out there at the New York Giants game, hanging out with his dad, or he's at the Mets game, or he's at the Red Bulls game. He's just hanging out or driving Uber. When we're off tour, man, he's just like enjoying himself, and I would have no problem, I think, enjoying 24 hours seeing through his eyes and living in his shoes. It's a great question.
So if you could pick your own 2-day festival.
Okay.
First day is female only.
Okay.
And second day can be mismatched. Who are your top 10? I'll give you 5 on each day.
5 on each day?
Yeah.
First of all, I would love for the festival to be in Orlando. No, I know that wasn't part of the question, but that's where I would put it. On the first day, I would put Lemuria. I would put Dollskin. I would put Paramore. I'm assuming I'm allowed to pick from any range. Doesn't matter.
Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what.
I would say Lemuria, Dollskin, Paramore, Absent Father, and who else do I want on there? Maybe Muna, which is an act that I've heard more recently. And on the other day, I would want Rustin Kelly. I would want Stray Kids. It's a K-pop group, and they recently had to cancel shows and move them to next year. I would want Less Than Jake, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and Small Brown Bike. And I'm saying that because these are the first bands that I just thought of. Also, 5 is hard, man. 5 is hard, but that's it. I would be good with that. Because I would watch all those sets, every single one of them. So that's why I said them. I would stand there and watch every single one, which doesn't happen at a festival for me anymore. There's a few bands I want to watch, and then some that it's like, I'm good.
So what do you feel is the hardest part about being a musician?
About being a musician? Specifically being a musician, I think the hardest part is finding... Oh, I can tell you exactly what I think it is. Knowing that you are validated as a musician. Because most days I do not feel that way. Most days I don't feel validated as a musician. I don't feel like I'm on the same level as some people. I don't feel like I'm taken seriously by some people, and that's a hard thing for me as a musician to swallow. And then the days where I know that I deserve to be there, or I'm told, are the days, and they're fewer. They're few. They're not often. But when they happen, those are the days that hold me over and tell me, okay, I need to keep playing. I should be playing. I'm glad that I'm playing. I'm glad that this is what I'm doing today instead of whatever else I would be doing.
All right. With that being said, what would you change in the industry?
Oh, good Lord, brother.
I know there's a long list, but I'm saying in
Yeah. At some
general.
point, I would love to write a book about the experience that I've had over the course of my adult life. But what would I change? If I was only able to change one thing, it would be just I wish that people wouldn't lie anymore when it came to everything. Everything. I would rather it be like a standard that if you are joining the industry, you have to be transparent, honest, and forward with people. Don't just say it to say it. Don't just say it. Don't just not say it to not say it. Like, just be honest out the gate. That way nobody wastes their time. Because one thing I learned during COVID, as I think a lot of people did, I don't have any time to waste. So I would rather get right to the point. You know, that's if I was only able to change one thing, that would be it. Even if it hurt my feelings, I'd rather the honest truth right out the gate than having to find out 3 months later. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it could be written a book of what needs to be changed. Like even as a concert goer or as I do this, like I've seen it.
Sure. I believe it.
I mean, there's a lot that people don't know. Like,
right.
Because honestly, most of the money that you're making are the merch sales and, of course, door, but it depends on where it is. Or, I mean,
And then it depends on your expenses. If you got people on the team, if you like, there's so many factors.
There's 6 of you.
That's true.
You have to rent a vehicle, buy a vehicle.
Right.
The time time is money.
Yep. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. These are good questions, by the way, brother. I'm loving these.
So what is your favorite thing to take on tour with you, like food-wise?
Food-wise?
Since you're a vegan, you said.
Yeah,
so
I would say
it's kind of harder than just going to a gas station and getting beef jerky.
So funny enough, Chucky, our bass player, he brings a lot of sustenance on the road. Like from day one, he usually comes with like 2 bags of like Cliff bars, little snacks and stuff. I like do my best to not bring anything. Not that I'm not eating, but like I try to like I have a bad pattern in the past of sitting in the van, just snacking the whole time and just feeling worse. So I've been actually making efforts to like only grab what I need when we're going to stop to eat and like have the meal or bring the leftovers of that meal. Or truthfully, if I still need something, I just try to get some light fruit at like the Pilot gas station. It's like, oh, there's the pineapple cup. I will get that because I've been actively trying to get a little bit healthier.
Okay.
But in the past, in the old days, my grandma used to give me like every snack under the sun. She would send me with like, you're going to need a trash bag full of food. I don't want you coming back skin and bones. And I'm thinking to myself, we're eating pasta out here. We're getting fed. Like, it's not like I'm not eating. I am eating food, and you're just making. I actually came back from tour and I gained 15 pounds. This is bad news. You know what I mean?
But if you could have your own dressing room writer, what would you have in it for yourself?
I would have at least 2 electrolyte drinks, case of water, case of seltzer, case of Coke Zero for my guitar player Dustin. Some sort of alcohol for the guys who drink, whatever they want. Really, I don't care. Food wise, probably the peanut butter and jelly and the loaf of the Dave's Killer bread. Just the quick sandwich. I'm so used to the quick sandwich that even as a 36-year-old man, dude, sometimes the peanut butter and jelly sandwich just hits still hits. I'm good on just a peanut butter and jelly. Probably a little hummus. Honestly, nothing crazy. I think because I've been doing this so long, again, I could never be like, you see those riders, sometimes they leak on the internet, and it's like blue Skittles and like a bowl of green M&Ms and and you're like, did you really need any of that? I hate waste. I hate waste.
Probably not.
I've done a lot of tours where I've seen a green room with a bunch of rider stuff and it's all wasted, and I know I walk past the door and I see it and I just know it's all going to get thrown out. I hate that. It's like, man. So not much, man. Same kind of mentality. I would want to ask Mike, what do we want? What do you guys need? And then let's just conserve the rest.
Since you guys been playing for a while, so far, what is your favorite tour so far?
The one we just did. For Keep Flying, the Less Than Jake Bowling for Soup tour with Dollskin that we just did, though it was only 2 weeks, was my favorite tour we've ever done. It felt really good to be there, to be asked to be there, and it felt really good watching those guys and women watching us side stage. And like I was talking about feeling validated, I felt validated as not just a musician, but as a artist and a worker and an entertainer. And man, I couldn't have felt more at home. It was like the exact boost every single member of my band needed at the time and moving forward, and hoping that is going to continue to make our trajectory grow. Like the couple shows that we've already picked up for later this year. It's like, it feels good, man. I finally feel like we've got our place and where we need to be.
So how do you feel when your name is not on the flyer?
Probably I laugh.
Because that does happen a lot.
I just probably laugh about it.
Because I see that more these days, that and I'll probably say special guest or something like that.
Right.
And
I mean, sometimes I'll ask the promoter if there's a way we can be added to the event page or the flyer, and if it happens, great. Sometimes we make our own. I'm sure you've been seeing that too. Like a lot of these smaller bands, us included, we've been doing our own flyers where we write supporting the other bands. Like, here's our own ad mat that we did so that we don't have that issue.
And I like the fact that you say supporting.
Yeah, because
I came across just research in general of saying you've played with certain people, but you're just at the same festival.
Correct. And
to me, that's kind of misleading.
Correct. I think a lot of bands do that, if not all.
Like I'm not pointing fingers or shouting people out. I've seen that here and there, and I'm like,
yes. It's one thing, festival bill with bands. There's another thing to be supporting those bands. The only bands that we ever really claim that we've toured with are the bands that we have supported, at least at a club show or a run of dates. You know what I mean? If it's not a run of dates, like we have played 2 shows with Turnstile, who are now a massive band. I wouldn't even really say that we've supported them because we only played 2 shows with them, club shows. Yeah. And we may have also played other festivals with them, but speaking club shows, we've played 2. Story So Far, we've played 3. 4 Year Strong, we've played 6. Set Your Goals, we've played 3. Like, we never went on tour with any of these bands, really, but we have supported them in multiple places in multiple club shows. So that's,
No, so I know there's different wording. It's just, for an outsider looking in, I'm just like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right to me.
Right. Like State Champs has taken us on tour. So we've toured with them. Les and Jake has now taken us on tour. We've toured with them, right? But it's also, these days, I'm sure you see bands make the post going on tour, and then you see the flyer and it's 3 shows. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, I guess.
That's technically an ankle of a leg of a tour.
Right.
Not even.
Who am I to say what that you should or shouldn't use the word tour? Because I mean, I know like the 2 month tours are gone. Now everyone's doing like 1 month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks or legs, like you said, different
Yeah.
legs. It's all, everything's different now. So, I don't judge or care, but like if I see 2 shows, I'm thinking to myself, that's not a tour, man. That's 2 shows.
It's just word terminology, but
Right. Right.
speaking of legs of tours, do you care which part of the leg you're on? The beginning or the end? Does that matter to like?
No,
Does that
no,
matter?
it's such a small band. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Like I can tell you pros and cons of like tours that are broken up in different legs. Like the pro of the first leg, let's say there's 2 or 3. The pro of being at the beginning is that uh, you get to have that steam right out the gate. Like people
Yeah.
are excited, right? But on the same side, the the pro of being on the last leg of the tour, you've had all the time during that tour for tickets to sell further. Like more tickets have been able to sell as like the videos have gone up, the photos, like fans start to get more excited. Like I saw pictures of the show in Boston. I'm going to the one in Sacramento in 3 weeks. Fuck it, I'm going. Um, so I mean, for us, it doesn't really matter. We just want to do any of it. Like,
Okay.
no preference. But I'd prefer all of it. I'd prefer
Yeah.
all versus one leg. But I'll take anything at this point.
All right. So I'm going to ask you some fun questions now.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to make you think a little bit. Last supper scenario: you have 12 people. Who are your last? Who are your guests?
Guess at my Shelby Buron, my mother, my grandfather, God willing, he's still with us. Jennings Compton, who's one of my best friends. Jordan Myers, who's also one of my best friends. Where are we at right now? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 5.
My bandmates, because they've become my best friends, so that's already up to 10. Nicholas Zappo, he's a wrestler. Zicky Dice,
Okay.
that's 11. And I have 5 siblings, so I can't fit them in all together either. Sorry.
I'll give you a kitty table.
Kitty table for the siblings. We'll dump them
Yeah.
there.
You can dump them in the kitty table.
So the last one I would say, my friend Jake Zimmerman, who's been my friend since he was like 14 years old, and he's a booking agent over at Sound Talent Agency now, and still lives in New York, and we still talk every 3 days, and it's just like nice. It's nice to have somebody who also stayed in music industry and is still one of your close friends, and not something bad has happened. You know what I mean?
So
Great.
going back,
That's hard. That's hard. That's like asking someone, you win the lotto, you're allowed to give money to 8 people. Who are the 8 people? That's hard.
I never said any of my questions were going to be easy.
They
get harder.
I'm ready.
All right. Except for your own music, if you had to send somebody a song to describe you as a person, just a song, no caption, no nothing, what song are you going to choose?
Andrew WK, I Get Wet.
Okay.
I've known that for a long time. You can put that song on, you know who I am by the end of that song.
Okay. And we'll go with a fun question now. If you could be any cereal, what cereal would you be?
Raisin Bran. Because sadly, these days, I've gotten a bit more plain, and I like the regularity, and I could always count on it. I'd like to think that my friends know that they can count on me just like I can count on Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran is my choice. Final answer. That's
Final
awesome.
answer.
Final answer. No other thought. I don't need anything crazy. I need the bran and a couple raisins. We're good.
I probably already know this answer, but if you could be stuck in a TV show, what TV show would it be?
Know the answer already. Favorite show of all time, the best show of all time, show that changed the game for TV to years forever. Lost.
Do you think you'd win though? Well, not technically. There was no win or lose, but do you think you'd be good?
I think that I've watched myself go through major growth the last 3 years, which is what that whole show is about, like the characters' growth, all of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of two things. I think that I could be someone like Jack who makes the sacrifice, who ultimately does what has to happen in order to save other people and or the island. Or I could see myself trudging through and being somebody who lives out their days on the island, like some of the cast makes it all the way through. I could see it going either way. I think after watching that show so many times that I understand the characters who choose to make the sacrifices, and I understand why I could possibly be one of the same. But man, that'd be a trip, bro, because the island is a special place. I wish it was real. I would do everything I could to get there if it was real.
What was the hardest song that you made that it was hard for you to put out emotionally?
It's not out yet, but it's coming on the next record.
Okay.
The last track of our record that is being mixed right now. We got the third mix today. I started sobbing a couple days ago when I was listening to the second mix because it is really the whole record's tough to put out because it's the most Henry's lyrics have always been very honest, but this is even more honest. And the last track is a massive thank you to the people who know who they are and don't know how important it is that their presence exists and is so supportive of us. And it's going to be hard to play it live. Like, I know the first time we play it is going to be hard. Like, it's going to be hard to not be tearing up, especially if people know the words and they're screaming it back and they know what we're talking about. That's going to be hard. That's going to be tough. Current catalog. Current catalog, I would say Surviving the Night. You know, it's the last track off Survival, and it's a very real one. And me and Henry have both choked up, and some of the other guys, we've choked up on stage a few times getting through that one. When we were recording the song, Henry was choking up trying to get through the second verse. That's why one of the lines he's like all raspy is because he was like crying, and like that was a tough one. But I'm glad that we put it out because we have a lot of people that come back to us and they're like, dude, this song means a lot to me. I'm really, really grateful that you guys wrote what you wrote. I'm grateful that you get up there on stage and you talk before that one, say some important things. Like, so that Surviving the Night would be the one right now.
So with the recording process, since you all live all different places, how does that, I mean, I know sending WAV files or, well, I'm dating myself. I said WAV files, but I'm just saying in general, do you play a part, send it, and then like, how does that work? Like,
We've been the last pieces we've been doing the send bits and pieces back and forth and giving input and combining things, and then also scheduling time to get together to work on stuff as a band and record on the phone, just very quick, simple, shitty demo on the phone, like of us in the band. And then a lot gets written in the studio. We book the extra time so that we can facilitate working on things like I wrote all the horns on this last record. The last two records, all the horns were wrote in the studio. Just wrote them in the studio. We get the track done. I would listen to it at night and work in one of the side rooms late night on like horn parts, because it's really tough to write the horns without knowing what the vocals are, where the vocals are going, if there's a guitar lead. So it's tough. So I usually wait.
So you're the last piece of the puzzle?
Usually the horns are the last piece. Yep. Yeah. So what makes Keep Flying is the horns. So we make sure to leave room for them, and then also sometimes we have to change stuff. This last record, Dustin recorded a bunch of lead guitar stuff, and then once we put the horns on, we had to move some of that lead guitar around. It wasn't going to work. It was like two clashing parts,
So you have a big show coming up November 19th, Starland Ballroom, Skanksgiving.
Yep.
Are you excited about that?
We're pumped. We're pumped to be included. We've wanted to be included, and now we finally are.
It's Catch-22, Goldfinger, Backyard Superheroes, you guys, and I think there's another. I'm not sure.
Mustard Plug and the Abrupters, who I believe are from Buffalo. It's a cool bill, man. Catch-22 doesn't play shows anymore. Goldfinger never comes anywhere. They're, very far and few. Planet Smashers never come to the United States, very rarely now. Mustard Plug tours, but very, only little bits and pieces. Weekenders, 2 weeks here, 10 days there. Abrupters I'm not too familiar with. I know Ricky is. And then Backyard we've known for forever. So what a good bill. Like a good bill of bands that people don't get to see very often. So I'm hoping people are going to come out and hopefully come for the whole show.
I believe the show starts at 5, I believe.
Believe so.
I think doors open at 5.
It's probably 5 with the show starting at 5:30 or 6. First few of us are going to probably have shorter sets, but that's fine because we got to leave room for. I want to get a full Catch-22 set, man. Come on, I've been looking forward to that for a long time.
I actually grew up with one of the members. Well, he was a member at one point.
Dude, I still do, but like as a kid, every show, every time they came to Long Island, I was at every show, all of them.
Are you a Streetlight Manifesto fan as well?
Yes, I'm friends with those guys. I worked for them for a year. That was very enjoyable for me. It's just a totally different thing, though. Streetlight is very polished and awesome, whereas Catch-22 is still like a punk band. It's just a totally different thing. I guess when it first happened, you could compare, but now it's like, come on, two totally different things now, two totally different bands. That being said, Thomas has been working on this new Streetlight record for 100 years, so I guarantee that whenever he dumps this record out next year, I'm assuming it's going to be the best record that they've ever put. I have to assume.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that as well.
All right, I'm going to let you flip it on me now. You can ask me anything.
All right, let me ask you this. This one was pissing me off the other day. There's the whole debate about what constitutes a sandwich. You know what I'm talking about?
It's been an ongoing thing for years, but yeah.
For years, and it actually drives me up the wall. Are you a person who would claim that a hot dog is a sandwich? And if so, why?
I honestly, I don't consider that a sandwich, but
thank God we are brothers now for life. We're good. We're good.
Like I don't know. Like it might be on on the menu with the sandwiches, but I don't see it being.
It's not, man. Whenever the conversation comes up, my bandmates know I start to see red. I have to walk into the other room. I don't know if people are messing with me all the time, but I can't hear it anymore. I can't hear it anymore. It's a damn hot dog. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not called a bologna sandwich. That's a different thing. We know what a bologna sandwich is.
Yeah.
Hot dog is not that. Please. All right, let me think about another one. Were you ever someone who's into cartoons?
Yeah, to a point.
Okay, Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, familiar?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Looney Tune and why?
I'm gonna probably. Well, are we talking the kids Looney Tunes, or because there was an adult version and there was the
Tiny Tunes. We're talking just standard Merry Melodies. You got Bugs, you got Porky, Yosemite, Elmer Fudd.
I cannot think of his name at all, but he was the what do you call it? He was one of the monsters. He was like brownish gray. Didn't really talk.
Brownish gray.
I can't think of his name, but
Not Gossamer, the red one. You're not talking about the red one?
like it was like brownish red.
They like fur with eyes.
Yeah, fur with eyes.
That's a great one. Gossamer. He was good. That was a good character. That's a good character. Why though? Why?
Because if we're going as kids, he looked like he was fuzzy and
Yep.
like not to me not scary, but
Oh no, yeah, right. He was the monster, but then you realize, oh, he's like a sweetheart. There's the episode where Bugs is like cold hair. That's a good one. All right, let me think of another one here. You've ever played the board game Risk?
Plenty of nights and plenty of arguments, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So, Risk strategy.
Okay.
Where do you try to conquer first, and why? What continent are you trying to go for, and why? Granted, if you have I know sometimes the cards come up and you don't start in the place you want. I know that's how that goes sometimes. A lot of people I know, they're like, I like to do the 4P in Australia, Singapore, that area, just to have that corner done. Me personally, I don't bother with it ever. What is your strategy?
Because I used to play this with my brother, so whatever property he had, that's where I attack.
My ex-girlfriend used to do that to me. It used to piss me off all the time.
I'm the younger brother, so I'm gonna go after the bigger brother.
Right. Okay.
So if he has Catan, I'm going after Catan. Like I'm, it's more of a neener thing. Like I will gladly. I don't like those games were never my thing, but if I'm playing, I will always lose to him, always. But I'm just saying in general, I will always try to
much as you could.
Yeah, same thing with Monopoly or any of those type of games. If you're playing with a sibling,
right. All right, my last question: do you own a pair of Crocs?
No, I do not.
None. Anyone in the household?
Nope.
Why not?
I think I'm a little too metal for Crocs, and okay. I don't. I mean, I listen to everything, but I'm just saying in general, it's not.
I've seen the death metal bands have started releasing their own Crocs and gibbets.
I mean, like
it's starting to catch on in the dying fetus world. I've seen they're doing custom Croc charms as merchandise.
They might be. I mean, people tell me they're the most comfortable thing in the world, but it's not. It's not me. No, I can't. I can't do it to myself.
I don't blame you, man. I've been wearing them every 4 or 5 years now. I used to get the looks from people being like, I hate this guy. Why you got to wear shoes like that, man? Now I see everybody and their mother wearing the shoes. Everyone.
I mean, it's not me. It's not my style.
Final question. I thought of one more. Just because, are you a TV guy by chance? Like you watch any shows or anything?
Not really. Most of my shows are over, so I have music on 24/7.
Okay, music then. I'll stick there. And you said you're a metal guy. You happen to be into any sort of power metal?
I listen to everything, but I prefer angry music before anything else.
Okay.
Like if you saw my CD collection, you'd be like, "Wow!" Like I literally have everything and anything you could think of. It's
That's
just
awesome.
I as an honestly average concert goer, I'm about 36 concerts a year, maybe more, depends on the year.
Right.
I've if I told you who I've seen, you look at me like, no, you haven't. Like
You like everything.
yeah, I mean,
So, but
the only thing I don't really touch is K-pop, and
right.
that's about it.
So, and you're into heavy music mostly.
Yeah,
So, what do you think about? What is your opinion about the next wave here, like the knock looses of the world? Like these are the next bands that are coming up. They're doing the supporting, and they're getting tremendous in size. And like I don't know that any of these bands will ever be the size of Slipknot because I don't know that you could ever recreate that. But they're still bringing out thousands of people. What do you think about these like newer bands? Let's stick with like a band like Knock Loose, let's say.
to be honest, and I'm probably gonna hear crap for this. I've never really listened to them.
Fair enough.
Like I'm on a kick with Bad Flower right now.
Okay.
Like I
What about
lately it's been unsigned.
have you heard of the band Lorna Shore that's blown up?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that
I mean,
like this, it like just skyrocketed.
yeah.
And I am guilty of only have heard hearing two songs by them. And I heard them and I'm like, yeah, it's good. It sounds good. The recording's good. I don't really quite understand why it blew up the way that it did, but normally I don't understand from when things like this happen. So I'm always curious to ask other people why they think something took off. Like why did this take off?
The reason why I think things take off is the hard work in general, promoting yourself, going out supporting the local acts, networking as much as you possibly can. Say you're off on a Friday night, and you said you're from New York right now, right?
Yep.
Okay, you see a show at Lucky 13.
Yep.
You show up to Lucky 13 or any of the shows in Brooklyn, or you're off, it's only $15 to get in by door, 10 by door, whatever it is. You go. I don't sing karaoke at all. Maybe once or twice, I have to be in the mood or whatever the case may be. I go to karaoke nights sometimes just to see if there's a new talent somewhere that I'm going to get first. You know what I'm saying? If you don't go out and support the scene, that's where it lays.
I agree with you.
Because you know what, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but you know what, you have a good conversation with John from the Wiggles. I'm just using that as an example that just popped in my head, and he remembers you, and he remembers that you're in your band,
Right.
and there's an opportunity of, fuck, I need an opener.
Right. It does happen that way.
Let me reach out to him.
We
If
have got opportunities that way. We have.
and if he can't, he might have somebody for us.
Right. Cheers to that.
I always make sure that I'm at a venue an hour before the doors open. If I can, I don't miss an opener at all.
Right.
All right, if I'm not too into it, I see part of their set, I go smoke a cigarette, come back.
Sure.
That has happened. Like if I wasn't just feeling it or it was one of those days, like I've left, I've came back to their second song. Oh, this one's better. Okay, cool. Like we don't have those days. But like that's the biggest thing that people do not go for openers.
We know. As a band who's opening often, we do everything we can to convince people to get there for doors so that they can see the live show. Because if they don't get to see the show, then they'll never know what they missed. Then they'll never think about even considering checking us out. We know.
And you can sit at your merch booth all night. You being a member of that band, sitting
Yep.
at the merch booth after your set, you wipe down, you Febrezed yourself, they might come over and say hello, but they didn't see your set.
Right. Right.
So they're not gonna some people do it just for clout and take a picture with you and then look you up later. Oh, I was with so and so.
Correct.
But yeah, even if you're not playing that night, if you see something and you don't have anything else going on, if you don't support the scene, they're not going to support you in any shape or way.
I agree.
It's definitely teamwork. Nobody's better than anybody else. It should be a family, and you all rise, you all fall.
Yep. I agree with that. I couldn't agree more, man.
That's how it should be. But you know how things are.
Some people got that mentality, some don't. And that's okay. At the end of the day, we like you said, we're out there working hard, and that's why I think we are getting some opportunities lately, and that feels good. It feels good to know that the hard work is paying off. I do feel good about it.
Self-promotion is the best promotion.
Right.
Yes, you can do Google ads and this and that, but at the end, what did you get out of that?
Right.
You didn't put the work in.
Right.
Somebody hits a button.
Rock and roll.
So if you had to write yourself a letter when you were 18 and you opened it now, what would you have told yourself?
I would have told myself if I was 18 and I wrote a letter, like a time cap that I was going to open,
yeah,
I think I would have wrote myself, I don't even know. I think I would have probably been talking about Magic the Gathering, talking about the cards that I need to pick up, because I was super into Magic the Gathering at the time. I was into music, but I didn't think at 18 that I was going to be a rocker. I did not think that. I was about to go to college. I was like, I was playing in local bands, but I was thinking nothing of it. I was like, it's just fun, I was more focused on like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. Probably would write a letter telling myself like, man, the card you pulled today, hopefully in 18 years, it's going to be worth way more money. And you know what? I would have been right. Some of those cards I got are sitting in my my decks, and I've looked them up recently. Gay as Cradles going for like $850 for one card, and I'm like, woo! I'm rich.
So when you're not playing music or writing, or what do you do for fun except for like magic? And do you play video games, movies?
Mostly hiking. Mostly recently going to the gym, hiking. Um, uh, I am a TV guy still. I'm a big movie guy, horror guy. Um, I used to collect action figures like you. I am music, so I'm collecting a lot of vinyl still, but it's mostly soundtracks and things like that. Uh, I don't know. I like being outside. I love being outside. I try to convince my bandmates to be outside with me. Every off day we have, we're doing activities that are outside. Um, and that's really it, man. Spending time with my family and the couple friends that I got. Whenever most of my friends don't live where I live, so it's like I see people when I can see them, and I cherish those moments and make the most of the time that I can. I haven't played video games in a long time. I don't really ever have the time for it. I like board games. I brought up Risk. I'm a big
Yeah.
So whenever I have the couple people at the house, like I can do a board game, I get really excited because I don't. It's far and few now. It used to be every day. We used to play board games every day, and so now it's like whenever I get to do that, that's fun. Going to the movie theater, that's fun. Riding my bike. I I I know that the word chameleon can be used in a bad way to describe somebody, but like I like to think that I when I say that I can chameleon as far as like depending on who I'm with, it's because I like pretty much everything, and if I don't like it, I can learn to like it, and if I don't know it, I can learn it. And so depending on who I'm around, I'm like, what is it that you want to do? I'm down. Like let's do that, especially if it's something I don't get to do that often. So I'm kind of like down for everything. There's not really a lot of stuff I don't like. I just don't like wasting my time. That's
Okay.
all.
If you can have one of your songs being in a soundtrack to a movie, what movie would you want it to be?
Past or present or like any movie ever.
Yeah, it could be past or present.
I would uh this might sound stereotypical, but the Goonies. I truly feel like my band and I are those kids always. And there's no better representation of us as a band. And I would like if I can go backwards and have a song written then to be in that movie, that would be the one.
But like, where would you put it? Like at the end?
No, I would put it more in the meat of the movie, kind of probably after when Mouth is starting to be upset in the well when he's like he's picking up the pennies. He's like, "This was my wish. I'm taking it back." Probably like because right there is when they're starting to really get on each other's nerves, and when they start to realize, "Oh, we need to bond together because the Fratellis are right behind us." I probably have it there, like the action sequence where they're running across the log, and then the organ playing, and then the water slide right around there. Right around there is where I would put it.
Hmm.
It's like the turning of the page. Because then they're on the pirate ship, and you're like, wow, they're actually there. They made it.
So who were you in high school?
I wore sweatpants. I had my hair parted to the side. Um, I didn't know jack shit about anything. I slowly started finding out about punk rock, but I still was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I was in advanced math and science. I took Russian from third grade. I was originally a drummer and not a sax player. Um, and I was the kind of senior who did not skip on senior cut day because I was afraid to do that. I had like perfect attendance, and I was a very studious person who excelled in school. And then fast forward, and I dropped out of college to start being a rocker. So
Mm.
I don't know what happened there, but I was a very different person from who I am now. I could have went and been a doctor or a teacher or anything really. I had scholarship to do whatever, and I chose to go to a private music school because I thought music just like won me over in like 11th and 12th grade, and then I dropped that so that I could just go on tour because I didn't want to wait.
So, what was the best advice you were ever given?
My friend Natalie Dickinson, who I haven't spoken to in a year, told me a couple summers ago, maybe more than a couple summers ago. Told me that I was a one of a kind person and super unique, and she told me that um, self. And I know that that sounds very cliche, and I've told her multiple times that how much it meant to me. I don't know what kind of status I was at mentally at the time, but it stuck with me really hard because I've tried to do a lot of things for other people that compromises me being myself, and I don't want to really do that anymore. Like I don't want to feel bad about who I am. I make mistakes like every human, but I don't want to feel bad about who I am or feel ashamed about who I am. I don't want to do that, you know. So being myself, inclusive of the growth, is the biggest thing that I could tell myself every time when I wake up and every time when I go to bed.
So, do you have any messages for your fans?
Um, yeah, pretty much the message that we like we talked about before this interview started. We're not here to talk about politics. We're not here to talk about drama or anything like that. Everybody's different, but the main point that our band is always trying to get across is simply, I hope everyone out there knows that no one is a perfect person and nobody is ever operating at 100%. And I hope, like I have myself realized, people accept themselves for who they are, knowing that 88% is pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. 89% is excelling. 94% is crazy. But like some days it's a 72 or a 65, and that's okay. And so that's really our biggest message is like, hey man, today was just a day and you get to go to sleep, and tomorrow you get to try again and have hopefully a better day. Not everyone gets that luxury. So like let's just like be kinder to our trim the stuff that's causing negative energy and focus on the stuff that's bringing you making you want to be here on the planet. If you can do that even a little bit, probably going to really help with all your days, in my opinion. I don't want to be on some toxic positivity kick here, but our band is a super PMA band, and we also have shitty days, and that's normal. But man, I'm the happiest I've ever been because I've chosen to continue to push my craft, which is what I want to be doing right now. And I hope that people can all find that thing that they want to make them happy and push on that more than maybe they did last year or 5 years ago. I hope that everyone is able to be like, I like doing this. When I do this thing or see this person or go to this place, I feel the best that I can feel. I'm going to do it more. That's it.
So at this time, I'm going to ask you to promote what's going on except for what we just went over.
So we've got we put out a video this afternoon for They Never Lie Down, which is another song off of the new record Revival. We're spending the rest of the year promoting that record, which are just recomposed versions of the current songs off of Survival and a few other back catalog records. We're going October 7th. We're opening for In Spirit. They're playing the first Vanna record front to back. October 8th, we're opening for Folly on Long Island, which is an old friends band. And then we're going to be in Ontario and Quebec for a week, which we haven't been back to since 19 or 2018 even. No, 2019. So that's exciting for us to finally get our asses back up there. And then we're going to be just enjoying Halloween, like I hope everyone watching it does as well. And then, yeah, the show we talked about, plus a few other things we hopefully are going to be able to announce very soon. And then our annual holiday show, which is on New Year's Eve this year at Amityville Music Hall. That's our big show. And that wraps this year up. We got a new record that's being mixed. Hopefully we'll start rolling out the singles for that early next year. And hopefully we just get to continue to have opportunities to go and do things. That's what I got to hope for.
And where can you be followed?
You can follow us at all the social media is at Keep Flying Band. You can check the website, which is keepflying.band, or, you could just Google it, go to Smart Punk, whatever you want. The best way you can support us is by telling a friend, streaming the record if you want, do a reshare or something, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or come out to a show, most importantly. Even if you don't know the words, just come on out. If we're playing in your town, promise you we'll give you a good time.
So I'd like to thank you for your time, and this is going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Amazing.
I hope you have a great night.
You too, brother. Thanks so much for having me.